welcome back to Season 2, Episode 9 of Astrea's Broken Heart. We're almost done with the season. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Last time it was a whole big thing where we got captured by the church. Who knows what's going to go down this time. So let's see. A helping hand. I think the little blurb under the thing on the main screen said you can't close your eyes, or you don't get to close your eyes anymore. So that's a little spooky, but okay. Warning, this episode contains descriptions of death. Please read on with caution. And also, the music is already popping off. It's actually kind of loud, so I might turn it down. Give me a second. Alright, we go. It's a little bit better. But yeah, usually when this music starts playing, there's like some pretty serious stuff going on. So it seems like we're starting out. I can't even remember what happened last time. I usually do a little mini recap. Oh! Right. We killed a butt ton of people. We killed everybody here. Except the main guy. I doubt he's just gonna let us walk out after doing that, so I mean, I don't know if he's gonna know that. I mean, who else? Like, we get here, certainly the rock is destroyed and all those people will die, and people no longer exchange whispers or questions. The hum of the crowd was swallowed by a grim foreboding. It had been brought out by the only guest of the community who had returned after venturing inside. Now they'll have to make their way to heaven the old-fashioned way. The landowner followed close behind them, lost like a child who had suddenly realized that his parents were nowhere to be found. Melody wouldn't mind comforting him, but there were no words that could erase the dozens of corpses on his land. Comforting him? He let them get sucked up in something he didn't even understand, all for a paycheck. I don't want to comfort him. Like, I can understand it could be very scary to suddenly see a bunch of dead people around you. He thought he was just, they'll be fine. But the problem is you were really hurting these people and you didn't even realize it. Don't follow us. Cassiel's sharp growl stopped him in his tracks, but as soon as the demon moved forward, Sean began to follow them closely again. Mikael realized that he wasn't going to back off. He turned around wearily. Look, you better make sure that all your paperwork is in order now, so you can avoid legal issues. The crowd turned their heads like a single organism in the direction of the unfortunate landowner. Only one woman wasn't looking at him. How am I supposed to tell her that her son will never return home? A lump formed in her throat. She felt a sharp reluctance to witness another's grief, and especially to be its messenger. But a promise is a promise, right? The closer Melody got to the woman, the more her face twisted with anxiety. It seemed like the mother's heart already knew what had happened. All that remained was to learn how. And then she would have the rest of her life to ask a single question. Why? Melody noticed a gold chain around the woman's neck. What are the odds that it's a cross and she's religious? She decided to take the risk. I can't explain what happened beyond those walls, but all the souls who begged for salvation have found it. Whether it was a miracle or not, I will say this. Before he died, Hugh smiled sincerely. He told me that all his loved ones were with him. He really felt your presence. He didn't suffer. The woman didn't respond. Her determined gaze shifted to the gate. Is he still there? Melody nodded and the woman walked away. No one stopped her. The guards, like Sean, wanted to leave this place as quickly as possible. They all died with blissful smiles on their faces. Maybe that will bring at least a sliver of fleeting comfort to their loved ones. We need to leave before the police arrive. Mikael addressed his colleagues, but it was Sean who responded. You can't leave. You have to talk to them. Tell them I didn't do anything. Yeah, but you did. I mean, we did too. Obviously, like, all of us are all equally responsible for this. You know. But I don't think it's fair for us to just walk away and leave him with all these bodies here. But I mean, it's not like he's not responsible either. We all have a part to play in this. So I'm not gonna lie. He's not gonna back off just like that. Who started this mess? You didn't kill these people. Maybe Felonia can help him. Hey, bringing Felonia into this. I mean, you did start this mess. Let's be honest. I seem more skeptic though. Let's probably be Faith. I don't know. But you didn't send them to paradise either. A good lawyer may save your freedom, but your soul. Goodness. Sean clearly wasn't worried about saving his soul. Melody decided not to elaborate further. This doesn't seem like the type of man who worried about his soul. It really doesn't. He addressed Sean with a glare and a chilling, cold voice. Only saints can perform miracles, but only the devil can work through the hands of mortals like you. You didn't help anyone. You destroyed all these lives with your greed and false benevolence. You will go to hell for what you've done. And if you take one more step toward us, you will burn in its flames today. The dazed man didn't just freeze in place. He didn't even blink until Mikael had disappeared from sight. Now there's someone who knows how to be convincing. Both Melody and Cassiel silently agreed to grant their weary superiors some peace, at least for a few hours. The journey home passed in silence. I feel like I want to point out that's maybe where we should end up too, but I think Mikael already knows that. I don't think he's absolving himself from the guilt of it at all. Right now, I think he's honestly just a little bit unstable. So I don't think it's... I need to go around saying, hey, buddy, this is your fault too. But I think he already knows that. I think we're just trying to talk to the only person who seems to feel like it's not his fault. And that was a Sean guy. Sometime later, Cassiel stopped at the gates. He glanced toward the garden, then suddenly addressed Melody. I'm gonna take a little walk. Should we... Okay, let's see. Is he warning me away or telling me that I can keep him company? Cassiel noticed the confusion on her face and elaborated. If you like, you can join me. Clearly her head after the day's turmoil actually seemed like a good idea. Since I probably won't be able to walk around unchaperoned anytime soon, I should take this opportunity. Mikael scrutinized his subordinates with fatherly strictness, as if weighing whether to let them go. Melody was sure he was going to tell them what time to be home. Finally, he relaxed his shoulders and relented. All right. Just like a real father of a big family. Once the Archangel was out of sight, Melody stared at Cassiel questioningly. So, where are we going? To a coffee shop. I'll treat you to something. The simple, mundane proposal stirred a storm of emotions within her. Melody suddenly realized that such things were becoming less and less accessible to her. It's like it's a part of a past life, and nothing will be as it was. That makes me feel... I feel like inspired is faith, so I'm gonna go sad. Their world is displacing mine. It's stripping away simple, familiar things. I'm even starting to miss trivial, mundane problems. A new set. The coffee shop Cassiel led her to turned out to be very close to home. A friendly barista greeted him with a warm smile. He responded with a curt nod. Do you come here a lot? No, but if you like it, we can stop by more often. We don't always have to have breakfast at Astrea. I imagine you're tired of it by now. Not at all, but I'd still love to. Won't you start aging if we visit too often? Don't worry about me. It doesn't happen as fast as you think. The scent of coffee mixed with notes of cinnamon and freshly baked pastries. Melody inhaled deeply and felt a sense of calm spread through her body. We can take our coffee to go or sit here for a while. Let's sit here. Then choose where we sit. Without hesitation, Melody chose the most secluded corner of the coffee shop. The small table for two seemed perfect for quiet, intimate conversations, for accidental touches that they both secretly craved. I wonder if Cassiel is thinking what I'm thinking. If he knew the reason for her choice, he didn't show it. He courteously pulled out a chair for her and helped her sit. It was a new side of him revealed to her. The second chair ended up a little closer to her, as if by chance. Melody tried to catch his gaze, but was interrupted by the barista, who was also the server. She handed them a one-page menu. Cassiel didn't even glance at it. I have an Americano. Melody decided to indulge in a dessert. Who knows when I'll come here again? Cappuccino and cheesecake. Americano and chocolate fondant. A latte and tiramisu. Both of these sound really good. I'm not really a big fan of tiramisu. I like a cappuccino though. We'll go with this one. Great choice. Oh, she's so cute. I wonder why we suddenly saw her face though. Are we gonna see her again? I don't know. Cassiel placed his clasped hands on the table, but when he realized that they took up most of the space, he awkwardly withdrew them. Melody rested her hand on the tabletop. She traced the cold surface of the flower vase with her fingertips. Suddenly, she longed for Cassiel to bring his hands back, so that after the coolness of the glass, her fingers would feel the warmth of his skin. Do you know what I often think about when I look at you? I'm afraid to imagine. The caution in Cassiel's voice made her burst into laughter. Are you that easy to scare? So what do you think about? Melody straightened her back. Her knees brushed against his, but she didn't pull away. Cassiel didn't react to the touch either. And though his expression didn't change, his pupils definitely grew a little wider. His warmth seeped under her skin. It spread throughout her body, carried by her blood. Melody took a deep breath. I really want you to relax. Relax? She would have sold her soul just to know what the demon was thinking at that moment. You know, massages are great for relieving stress. Melody scooted closer to him. She spoke almost in a whisper. Do you have someone like a massage therapist in your world? Cassiel replied just as quietly, shielding his words from the barista who was preparing their drinks at the counter. In hell, we have succubi. If Melody subconsciously intended to fluster Cassiel, he had unknowingly turned the tables on her. Succubi? Suddenly, she had no desire to imagine Cassiel relaxing anymore. Fortunately, a timely cup of coffee and her dessert distracted her from poisonous thoughts. Enjoy your meal. The coffee was divine. For a while, Melody was lost in the sensations it created. Do you want some? Without even glancing at her dessert, Cassiel shook his head. His eyes were fixed on her face. You suddenly went quiet. Did I say something wrong? Melody slowly chewed a small bite. I'm not even sure if I want to continue this conversation. Beavis. Her attempt to make her voice sound indifferent failed at the second word. Cassiel keenly caught the hint of jealousy. He found it utterly endearing. But he didn't toy with her emotions. He answered honestly. No, I never visited their establishments. Her soul once again filled with peace. Melody returned to her dessert. He's allowed to have previous relations. Only when her plate was empty did she notice that the silence had lingered. That really was delicious. Thank you. Cassiel hadn't taken his thoughtful, piercing gaze off of her. What? Did I get something on my face? Melody almost reached for her purse to grab a mirror, but her hand stayed on the table. Her lips were suddenly covered by Cassiel's. Just like that, as if he had kissed her 100 times before. As if they weren't in a public place, as if there was no one else in the world but the two of them. Melody leaned into him. The back of his broad, warm hand rested cautiously on her knee. Melody silently begged Cassiel not to notice the trembling that was running through her body, while Cassiel's thoughts were taking him far, far away. Up along the inside of her thighs, he wanted to turn his hand over to squeeze her soft skin. Cassiel tore himself away from the most desirable lips in the world. He didn't open his eyes as he let out a heavy sigh. Melody understood his thoughts. She gently placed her hand over his, intertwining their fingers. You surprised me, Cassiel. I wanted to do that since we stepped outside the gates of Astrea. But you were waiting for the right moment? Not every moment feels right. I want to kiss you everywhere. It's getting harder and harder to hold back. Cassiel's confession thrilled Melody. She was even more delighted by the mutual spark between them, something she felt like shouting about to the world. But fearing that his intensity might overwhelm her, Cassiel suddenly changed the subject. Melody didn't press him. She followed his lead in the conversation. After finishing their coffee, they headed back to the agency. They walked more slowly than perhaps they had ever walked in their lives. He isn't afraid to show his feelings for you to the world. It's very cute. A few days later, the days that followed returned to a peaceful routine. Melody even learned to enjoy the strange lulls at the agency. She rationalized them like this. She couldn't be of help in the matters that were being resolved. Exactly what the immortals were doing remained a mystery that Melody tried eagerly to solve. Every now and again, she'd corner her colleagues in the kitchen, piecing together news bit by bit. Most of the time, they'd dodge her questions. Much more rarely, they'd answer honestly. The only conclusion Melody managed to draw was that things weren't going well, and no one would be filling her in on the finer details. Until one day, the news found her instead. Early in the morning, she heard voices that she'd never heard in this house without a reason. Are Furius and Somnus here? She didn't wait for an invitation to the common meeting. She jumped out of bed and hurried to get ready. That's cute. Interesting. I like the color. I don't know if I like the fit. Okay. I like the necklace. That's cool. Huh. Let's see. This is Cassiel robe, right? I kind of really like this. Something simple. Alright, let's see what the hairs we got. Mmm. Mm-hmm. You know what this reminds me of? What was it? The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? It kind of looks like that. I never got around to watching that show, though. Uh-huh. She kind of giving like super witchy vibes with this one now. Like Somnus. Why? What is happening? I mean, I really like this one too. We'll go with this one for Cassiel's route. I like it. It's clean and simple. It's pretty. I don't know. Should I switch routes to someone else? I don't really know which route to switch to at the moment, so maybe we just keep kind of going. In the hallway, Melody bumped into Raphael. He was clearly on his way to her bedroom to pick her up. I see you're already awake. Furious and Somnus are here to see us. I heard. I'm heading there as quickly as I can. They'd appreciate your enthusiasm. Raphael led her along. He cast a subtle glance in her direction. I hope they're in a decent mood and don't plan on ruining ours. Me too, but everyone was waiting for them in the living room. Alright, let's see what we've done now. They wished everyone a good morning and took a seat on the couch, which the others seemed to be ignoring for some reason. You finally made it. I mean, just sent someone to go come get me. Like, what are you mad about already? Melody chose to ignore his jab. Like, seriously, there's nothing else to do but ignore it because it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's not like you told me yesterday, hey, I'm gonna be here. It's not like I have a magical sense without hearing your voice shouting from the living room that I know you're down here. So, like, what else to do but ignore your stupidity? The news we have is far from good. He paused dramatically. All over the world, people are finding bodies completely drained of blood. No more brands on the bodies? Now they're being drained of blood instead? Ooh! You know, at that ritual in that church place that we found? You know how it was like drains for all the blood to go in there? Maybe it's for something like that. The words slipped out of her mouth on their own. Are these murders really connected to our mission? I would assume so, honey. But let's just say together, they weren't doing this before. Why are they doing it now? Somnus smiled approvingly at her perceptive question. Because unlike us, the beast is advancing. It's commendable. As you may have guessed, the places where these people are dying are familiar to you. We're no longer chasing the beast. It's now following our trail. Mikael muttered through clenched teeth. So it's not just any of the followers who has the book. The book? It's with someone who knows exactly what is on its pages. Melody didn't fully understand what they were talking about, but she could clearly feel the tense mood that suddenly gripped everyone. An ordinary mortal can't read it. And we don't sense the aura of any immortals near the followers. You need to pay more attention to your senses. Furious's angry voice was interrupted by a thoughtful one. Why does it need the blood? Wouldn't the person themselves be more valuable to it alive? There are too many people who have had a fragment pass through them. Gathering them all without drawing attention isn't easy. Storing the blood is much simpler. And as for the soul... Mikael closed his eyes for a moment, as if remembering something. As we now know, it already has power over mortal souls. Furious clenched his hands into his fists. When did this creature manage to recruit so many followers on this wretched earth? When you weren't paying attention? Nor Shefa? What have you all been doing all these years? Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Their fault. The problem is that they're all just humans. No demon is controlling them. They simply believe the words they've been fed. The beast itself only appeared to those who tried to kill the sinner's children. Mikael's words made Melody shudder. The beast can't influence me anymore, but it has taken no further action. Does that mean... Nah, it needs you right now, it just can't get to you. If they hadn't cut off your dreams, it still would be trying, that's for sure. Astrea, is that impenetrable? Your God can't help us. Saying your God states that you believe in said God, which implies faith. This is Cassiel, I'm on skeptic, so we'll do this one. The beast does its work through the hands of others, and is clearly in no hurry to reveal the identities of its truly powerful followers. That's why I won't attack openly. And if we see their faces, then his followers will no longer have a reason to hide, and there will be a real bloodbath. It's best not to look them in the eye, then. Then came a revelation that Melody hadn't even hoped for. The beast needed you for some kind of ritual. The 7 of you had long been prepared for sacrifice. It started with your parents. The followers fed them sin like fodder. And now it seemed that the beast knows you've been entrusted with a mission that must unfold exactly as it desires. So as soon as you fulfill your duty, you'll return to the altar. But don't worry, Melody. We won't let the beast kill you. We won't let it taste your blood and feed on what you carry within you. For some reason, those words of reassurance made her feel worse. Her hair stood on end. How is Harry? Her voice faltered slightly, which amused Somnus. Not chained or locked in the basement, if that's what you're wondering. It is. Her desire to ask questions vanished. Somnus returned to the main subject. Our mistake was that we didn't see humans as a threat. As usual. Meanwhile, they were weaving a web behind our backs. A fragile one, like mortals themselves. But as soon as we cleared one corner, it would reappear in another. The web they weave is not our main target. Let mortals amuse themselves and spill each other's blood as much as they like. Fuck off. We need to find the spider. Mikael's next words seemed difficult for him to say. His jaw clenched and steel glinted his eyes. The beast doesn't just have patrons and supporters among our kind. I'm sure he has a strong right hand on Earth. Wait, so you're saying there are immortals that do support him, though? Maybe that's what Chef is really worried about. I keep trying to figure out why Chef is so scared of him. But to sever it, we must first see it. We need to make the rat show itself. Force it to poke its nose out of its hole. You need some bait. That's me. Suddenly, Furious smiled. And as always, you would choose the most intriguing strategy. The most effective. The moon's appearance was improving at an astonishing rate. Very well. They had clearly come to some conclusion. Melody couldn't figure out exactly what it was. Then I suggest you all fly out to the sites of the killings. Perhaps you'll find something useful in those drained husks. Everyone went out of the living room and into the garden. Soon she was alone with Mikael, who lingered behind. One by one, the silhouettes of her colleagues disappeared into the sky. What am I supposed to do? I'm obviously useless without wings. You'll have to spend some time with Furious and Somnus. Melody could not help but grimace. Mikael hurried to reassure her. Felonia said she wanted to speak to me. She might show up soon to brighten up less than pleasant company. She'll see that you're not here and won't stick around. Then tell her that I asked her to wait for me. Alright. She didn't have to try and guess why Felonia was so eager to visit Astrea and talk to Mikael. There was only one reason. Did you learn anything about her family? He disliked the intensity with which Melody took an interest in Felonia's life. Let me tell you something about life in heaven. Melody prepared to listen as Mikael continued. A very long time ago, angels started disappearing there. To this day, their bodies have never been found. No one has any idea how they vanished or where to. Rumors spread that they were being dragged into the darkness by shadows. The only survivors were always children, if the victims had any, of course. But even they never heard anything. The children would wake up at night to find empty beds. Eventually, the mysterious abductor became a boogeyman story. White-winged children would scare each other. They would say that their parents would disappear for misbehaving. Melly knew the answer, but asked anyway. Why are you telling me this? Because it was Felonia who started the legend. She was the one, not by herself by the way, the children of heaven were afraid of. She was the one who got rid of those unwanted by her patron. She did it so thoroughly that the families wouldn't even have any remains to mourn. She deprived so many of their fathers, and now she dares to shed tears for her own. Is he serious? Melody's heart pounded with a strange excitement. She confessed this to me herself. I already knew this. Instead of fear, Melody felt anger stir within her. Is there anyone in this house whose hands are not stained with blood? Or is the only difference that Felonia killed higher beings, not mortals that no one cares about? Mikael had not expected such a question from her, so he did not answer right away. All I'm saying is that those who hold her life in their hands will not forgive her. And let me remind you that I won't be her executioner. Mikael was unwilling to discuss this any further. He left to join the others. I bet you're not willing to discuss it because you didn't get the conclusion that you wanted. Listen, I understand that some of the people that disappeared were probably friends and maybe even family of his, and so he's emotionally connected to it, and so that's why whatever. But like, how dare you sit there and act like your hands are clean, like your shit doesn't stink, and just disparage her like that. Not to mention, you don't know why she did that. Like, sure, maybe it's inexcusable to you, but we don't know all the details about that. And like, why you make her out like you all to blame and just kind of leave in, and her patron, did her patron leave her a choice? Even if he didn't, you know, you've done a lot of bullcrap that is kind of inexcusable too. All of you have. Like, and y'all don't care. Like, it only matters to you because people that you knew. What about me? Like, y'all been doing a lot of crap to mortals and y'all don't care. It's the whole time. It's been chilling to see like the disregard for life that they have. And so yeah, man, I try with Mikael, but sometimes I just don't know about him. Like, he lives like in this righteous land of Delulu, with like no regard for how the demons feel about this stuff. And after everything that I know demons go through because of angels in Heaven's Secret, like I can't overlook that. Like, so all that is probably why I'm being so hard on him. Because I really hate how the angels act in Heaven's Secret. Like, I really hate it. Like, they treat the demons like second-class people, like, already. And let alone get started on mortals. It's insane. So you coming off really high and mighty, it's really not hidden. Especially when you refuse to acknowledge your own faults here. Once again, I get it. He's emotional because whatever she did wrong. I'm not excusing what she did. All I'm saying is he really in the seat to be judging her like that? And then to try to make me judge her like that. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't even dream that she would have already told me that herself. Yeah, I'm just reminded, like, I'm kind of feeling like the same way I was feeling when Somnus and Furius were trying to tell me all this bad stuff about the people in this house. Like, they were talking about the people in this house the same way Mikael was just talking about her. And it's just a little bit ironic how similar to them he's acting. But I'm gonna try to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna try. But I really didn't like that. I really didn't like that at all. Once the last Astrea and her disappeared into the sky, Somnus and Furious returned to the living room. I'm gonna switch to Felonia's route since she's gonna be here soon. Alright, back. Cassiel followed them in. He gave the immortals an arrogant look. You know this is no ordinary wolf, right? Yeah, I'm quite certain of that. Yes, I figured. As if not wanting to hear anything about himself, Cassiel growled quietly. It's okay. I know they're stupid, but don't worry about it. Ill-mannered beast. Yeah, I'm looking at him. You're right. Ill-mannered beast. That's exactly what I'm looking at. Yep. Such rudeness almost made Melody growl to him herself. What a vile creature. How did your last assignment go? We left behind a pile of corpses. Wonderful, I got to see my mom. Horrible, thanks. I really want to say the last one. I also want to say this one. I think that's more skeptic. Well, we'll go with this one, I suppose. In fact, I'd like to thank you for such an interesting journey into the past. Glad to hear it. Thankfully, neither Furious nor Somnus expressed a desire to spend more time with her. Perfect. As soon as Melody asked if she could leave, they graciously let her return to her room. Perfect. Don't want to be there. To kill time, Melody tried to make the wolf obey commands. With the very first one, he lost all his magical understanding. He yawned loudly, jumped onto her bed, and fell asleep. A clear expression of his thoughts on such obedience. Melody gave up on the pet and tidied up her room. She wiped a few specks of dust off the vanity and glanced at her reflection. She didn't like what she saw. She thought she looked far too tired. Maybe I should touch up my makeup while I have time. Ooh, new makeup. I feel like we've got more makeup in this story than we usually ever do in these stories. Let's see. Keep current makeup. Creative. Oh, interesting. Evening. I don't know about that one. I'm gonna get everything just so I have options. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that last one. When I heard Starry, I guess I wasn't quite what I was expecting. I see really like the clear face. It's nice and clean. Creative. Let's see. For Felonia's, we usually go for more of a kind of an edgy look. So we'll go for this one. After some time, Felonia announced her arrival with dramatic flair. Even from her bedroom, Malek could hear the angry curse directed at one of the immortals. I could have guessed that their relationship wasn't the best. Who are they worse to? David or Felonia? Let's find out, because she's never been here while we've had talking to them. Melody rushed downstairs and practically burst into the living room. The scene before her was far worse than anything she had imagined. All three of them looked like starving hounds, ready to tear each other's throats out. They were so blinded by rage that they didn't even notice that another person had joined their group. What's going on here? Furious flirted his nostrils and kept his gaze fixed on Felonia. Yelling won't get you anywhere. The demon clearly wasn't going to beg anymore. The venom she had suppressed for too long dripped from her lips. It's a shame your island escaped the ruler's wrath. He didn't want to get his hands dirty. It would have been so easy to strangle all of you in those stupid crystal coffins. One more word and we'll put you to sleep again, you rabid beast. Felonia moved from words to action. Fire flickered at her fingertips. Damn it. Somnus' eyes clouded with a white haze. The air around him shimmered. And to think it's you we gave a chance at redemption. Now, why did you, though? Axel... It's like, yeah, Val Beast, but you suddenly have use for that Val Beast, don't you? It's like, okay. I don't know, clearly you didn't care that much, but... Sure. Axel stepped in front of Melody and behind Felonia. Did you have a good nap? Wolf figured out for himself who the enemy was. For some reason, he grounded the superiors. He slowly advanced towards them. Ooh, I want to let him do it. I want to let him do it so bad. But I don't know what their powers are. I'm afraid they could hurt him. And we're supposed to be working with them. I want to let him do it so bad. Ooh. Alright. Come on. Axel, no. Stop. This time the wolf froze obediently, but he didn't stop growling. Somnus moved his lips. He was addressing her, but Melody couldn't hear a word. Why can't I hear him? You managed to control the wolf. Your relationship with the superiors has improved. Lovely. Suddenly, the demon burst into wild, hysterical laughter. Hiding behind the dome like cowardly rats. How long can you maintain your defense? Oh, because they're in a little dome. Oh, that's why I can't hear him. Maybe I should burn this mansion to ash with you inside it? Perhaps Sheffa will see the flames and finally take notice of me. Staggered by the threat, Melody rushed toward her. She ignored the heat radiating off Felonia and stepped close, standing between the demon and the superiors. Felonia, please stop. They can really punish you. The flames in Felonia's hands died down and she smirked bitterly. They can't hear us, Melody. They're hiding under their dome. Cowards. Of all people, they're the ones I serve. Felonia's thoughts were wandering in the wrong direction again. Melody grabbed her hand, hoping this would stop her from burning down the house. Let's go, Fel. You need to calm down. All of you need to calm down. Felonia was trembling slightly. Melody didn't waste any time as she gently pulled the demon out of the room. Axel followed them and sat down by the door to the living room. Come on, I'll make you some tea. Is he keeping them in there? Wait. Is he like, don't leave this door? Y'all better stay in there. Stay in your little dome. Melody quietly urged her forward, but Felonia suddenly produced a key as if out of thin air. She unlocked a nondescript door and slipped into the darkness, pulling her colleague along. After the bright sunlight in the living room, the dimness of this room felt like impenetrable darkness. Melody clutched Felonia's hand tighter. Where are we? It's the basement. No one look for us here. We can talk freely. Her words helped Melody's mind adjust to the shapes around her. She saw a staircase bathed in faint yellow light. Resting her other hand on the cold surface, she slowly made her way down and looked around. The rough stone walls were damp and musty. This place seems even bigger than upstairs. A long hallway lined with arches stretched into a seemingly infinite darkness. It was like a gaping, toothless maw. From it came a chilling wind full of ancient secrets. Is this where Furius wanted to keep me chained up? The thought made Melody shudder. She suddenly wanted to go back upstairs immediately. It feels like my services at Astrea is coming to an end. There was no sadness in her words, but for some reason, Melody felt the urge to convince her otherwise. Fel, I'm sure those two are discussing my return to hell right now. Why did you even get into a fight in the first place? Felonia didn't answer. She crept deeper into the basement like a cat. Melody clenched her teeth and hurried after her. She nearly bumped into Fel when the demon suddenly stopped. Listen, Melody. They won't help me. They won't bring my family back. Her eyes filled with pleading. This is where our dear Astraeans keep the truly important artifacts. I need to find the portal stone. It'll take me home before any of the immortals notice. I can find out where they're being held. Please help me. But how? This place is full of traps. Stay here and distract the others in case they come looking. Oh. It's kind of dangerous. No. Alright. Just be careful, okay? Thank you. She vanished into the darkness so quickly that it was as if she had dissolved into it. I hope she finds that damn stone quickly. Surely they wouldn't left it around if they knew she needed it. Melody peered cautiously behind the archway, but didn't dare go any further. She paced in place and listened. Somewhere in the distance, a single drop of water timidly hit the floor. How old is this building and these hallways anyway? Melody let herself relax, lulled into a false sense of security by the silence. She leaned against the dirty wall and stared into the thick, solid darkness, waiting for Felonia to return. But what emerged from the depths of the basement was not Felonia. A flash of light momentarily blinded her and knocked the ground out from beneath her feet. Melody crashed to her knees on the concrete floor, hissing in pain. Please don't let me go blind. But as her senses returned, so did a primal, inescapable fear. It's a stupid idea. What if Felonia dies? Melody silently prayed to every god she could think of for Furius and Somnus to emerge from their dome. She scrambled to her feet. Ignoring the pain, she ran for the stairs but stumbled before she was even halfway up. Hands reached out from above to save her from falling further, as if sent by heaven itself. Hey, you scared? What was that? Felonia made sure Melody was steady on her feet before letting her go. Angelic tricks. Are you alright? Fine, yeah. Did you find what you were looking for? Felonia stood beside her, tossing a small stone in her hand. Oh, I can find shadows anywhere and slip through them as easily as a fish through water. Will you be able to get to your family now? Felonia took the stone into her pocket and smiled broadly. Yes, Melody. Now I'll find them. Now everything will be different. Why didn't you do this before? Felonia's eyes were so bright with joy that even the darkness couldn't swallow their light. No, really, why did she never do this before? What was stopping her from doing this? Melody couldn't help but smile back. Shall we go upstairs? Why don't we stay here a little longer? Melody was certain that her superiors would soon wipe that happy expression from Felonia's face. Suddenly, she wanted to keep those emotions on the demon's face for just a little bit longer. How long before they noticed that we're gone? She's so pretty. I wish I could go with you to find your homeland. Help you find the ones you're looking for. Would you follow me into hell? Anywhere. Felonia wanted to believe those words more than anything in the world. She wanted to allow herself the joy of loving and being loved, but the impossibility of this union wrapped around her heart like a thin wire, tying her hands. Honest, bitter words were on the verge of slipping from her tongue, but Felonia was so tired of paying off debts. I'm sorry, Melody, for everything I've said to you. I'm sorry I kept you away. After seeking redemption, Felonia closed the distance between them with one soft step. But I can't take you with me to hell, no matter how much I want to. It's impossible. And I can only stay on Earth if I find my family. I wouldn't ask for anything more. Those words drew them even closer together. Melody breathed in Felonia's powdery scent. She shivered as soft strands of hair brushed her cheek. Felonia gently touched Melody's ear with the tip of her nose. I don't want to push you away. I want to hold you close and never let go. With you, I want to be. I guess we're going to go through them. You're clowning. Melody turned her head and her lips were immediately burned with a fervent kiss. Felonia let her emotions break free from the cage of inner turmoil. They had been held back for so long that they erupted in an unstoppable wave, leaving her barely able to catch her breath. She wanted to take everything this fragile being could give and cherish the memory of her as her greatest treasure. She wanted to consume the woman entirely, to keep Melody inside of her forever. Felonia deepened the kiss and freed her hands, which immediately slipped under Melody's top. Her thin fingers pushed Melody's bra up, exposing her breast, which she squeezed to the point of a sweet ache. Her soft lips tormented Melody so tenderly, her tongue entwining with the woman so boldly, so shamelessly. Every moment was imbued with this desperate longing. Felonia felt like even a moment's separation would mean losing Melody forever. Is she afraid that she won't make it back to me from hell? Her melancholy thoughts added a shameless determination to her own actions. Melody tangled her fingers in the silky smooth strands of Fel's hair, pulling them back gently but firmly. Felonia released Melody's lips obediently, and then spoke in a sultry murmur that sent shivers down Melody's spine. You would look so good with wings up as black as the abyss. Melody let Felonia boldly explore her body. She wanted to feel all the demon's hidden desires upon her. Felonia was daring and brazen, but impossibly tender at the same time. The slight pain of her greedy touch was immediately replaced by playful caresses. The damp chill of the basement dissolved into the fiery heat of a desire that engulfed their bodies. The confined space burned, and Melody felt as if she had actually descended into the very heart of hell, as if she had followed the most tempting sin with eyes aflame with lust. Do you want this? Felonia's voice trembled slightly with anticipation. Melody gave a subtle nod. With a hungry smile, the demon brushed the tip of her tongue against Melody's cheek. She gently placed her fingers over Melody's kiss-swollen lips, as if asking her to be silent. Melody parted her lips and slowly ran her tongue over Fel's fingers. Felonia brought them to her own lips, mirroring the motion. She slid her fingers into her mouth, so deliberately slow, so tantalizingly sensual, that the practical necessity of the action instantly disappeared. Anticipation tightened into a sweet knot deep in Melody's belly. Her body burned and ached. Her heart threatened to leap out of her chest and fall at Felonia's feet. Fel, I think I'm... Melody hadn't even noticed when Felonia's hot hand had slipped between her clothes and settled confidently between her thighs. I don't want to hear anything except this. Wet fingers glided over her thickness, effortlessly drawing out the very sound that Felonia so desperately longed to hear. Melody moaned in a low drawl. Felonia's fingers slowly circled her aching clit, sending sweet tremors down through her body. I never longed to torment anyone in this way. Melody arched her back, thrusting her hips in a futile attempt to guide Felonia's fingers. You're the first person I want to sneak under the covers with every night, and listen to your sweet moans as my lullaby. Melody could have basked in Felonia's enchanting confessions for an eternity, but her desire to taste her again worn out. She took the initiative and claimed Felonia's lips once more. The faint sense of danger emanating from the demon thrilled her, making her pulse race even faster. I don't care about her past. No matter who she is now, Her thoughts fell apart halfway through. They were swept away by an intoxicating touch that she had never experienced before. Skillful fingers pressed into the pulsing spot, and Melody felt bliss wash over her. It burned through her being, leaving behind only searing pleasure in the hollowed-out vessel of her body. Felonia broke away from Melody's lips, parting her lips slightly to catch the woman's escaping moan. Their breaths mingled. Everything around them was ablaze with demonic fire, and yet Melody had never felt closer to the gates of heaven. Fell. Felonia adjusted her clothes and stepped back. I never thought I'd enjoy being Astrea this much. I felt this way about anyone before. With you, I want to be tender. That's cute. Felonia took her hand and softly confessed, "You know, I've never really had anyone to warm my bed when I wasn't in it. Maybe I wanted that, but I couldn't even admit that desire to myself. But why? I would have given anything to take on that role if I had met you in hell." Felonia chuckled. Because back then, loving someone would mean being weak, vulnerable. You think I let these mutts from heaven control me if it weren't for my family? Melody cupped her face. Felonia rubbed her cheek against the soft skin like a cat. I don't know much, but I think they wouldn't have even bothered with you without leverage. In a way, your family gave you a chance at salvation. They may have unshackled me, but they bound me in a new chains right away. Do you really want to be invulnerable that badly? Is it worth giving up happiness just to avoid pain? Felonia hid her answer in a soft, almost innocent kiss. Before she continued, she kissed Melody again, just as tenderly. You know, I've always had so many principles. Like what? Like not putting the immortals I like in danger, not letting them get close to me. And now here I am, smiling like a fool and looking at you. As someone who can be killed by just about anything. Well, somehow I've made it this far. No, really. I could lose you not even to another person, but to something as trivial as an accident. Some force of nature. How can I fight the elements as well as your penchant for getting into trouble? Melody laughed, but Felonia continued. Her tone grew serious. And the strangest thing? I don't care anymore. When I tried to push you away, I realized I didn't want to fall asleep in a cold bed anymore. Melody really wanted to be that quiet harbor for her. She truly believed that even mortals could find salvation in their short lives. That they could renounce the past for the sake of a better future. Melody believed in Felonia, and that was enough. Promise me that your feelings for me won't hold you back. The demon responded to her request with a sad smile. Are you really ready to free my hands? My past doesn't scare you? I don't know who you were before. I only know who you are now. And I adore the person I see. Felonia pulled away gently. Her expression was full of tenderness as she looked at Melody's face. She tried to memorize her like this. Sincere and love. Beautiful. So she sealed that image in her memory with a sweet, lingering kiss. Compromise her principles for you mean a lot to her. What is the bogan pose? Why are you... I've been thinking about you a lot, Melody. Every day I remember our kiss, your lips, my foolish words. Yes, we're from different worlds, but so what? I've realized that I don't care who or what stands between us. Melody didn't know what to say. The dramatic shift in Felonia's behavior was both dizzying and difficult to process. Felonia sensed her doubt and read the genuine surprise in her eyes. Don't say anything now, Melody. We'll talk about this later when... No, if I return to you, alright? Melody nodded. Good. Then let's not dwell on it. It's willing to risk everything to be with you. Alright. You know, I genuinely need to think about how I feel about everyone's past and the things that they've done before. It's really tough to think about. Because we've heard about her doing some really crazy stuff, right? And we've seen some of the others do some really crazy stuff too. Like, you know, with Mikael and the stone and Felonia and the stuff in the past. And I wonder, is the reason Mikael is so angry, does it have anything to do with Nam? Was Nam one of the people that went missing? I don't know. Well, no, because that happened after they got here. Because Nam visited him here at Astrea, so that wasn't connected at all. So whatever happened to his brother was something else. I wonder if we'll find out more about that later. Maybe season 3, maybe in Heaven's Secret 3. I really think how I really feel about all this. And it's the things that she's done that I'm willing to overlook any worse than the things that they have done that I'm also willing to overlook. And should I be willing to overlook them? That's interesting. Then again, we are also dating Malbon and Lucifer, and we know what they've done. A lot of those things to us. We know Vicky crazy behind. Anyway, we should head back. You're right, let's go. Felonia cautiously opened the door. She slipped into the hallway and motioned for Melody to follow. I hope they have plenty of those stones. Yeah, I hope they don't need them. It didn't say it would affect the plot. It just said that we're willing to help. The woman caught their breath in the kitchen, just as Melody had initially intended. Soon the Astraeans returned. Judging by Furious' booming voice, he had already intercepted Mikael to tell him his version of events. Oh my god. What a pansy. He's so annoying. Like, she just attacked us for no reason and blah blah blah, and you already know how she is and this and that and demons and this and demons that, blah blah blah. Her impending reckoning didn't seem to bother Felonia. She walked toward the office with a calm, steady stride. Melody was nervous enough for two. To try and smooth things over, blame it on emotions. Everyone's on edge right now. But there was no need for her conciliatory speech. When he heard footsteps, Mikael stepped out to meet them, keeping Felonia out of his office. What have you done? Mikael was directed at the demon, but Melody instinctively took a step back. Have those two already whined to you? Whined? What are you, a child lashing out at them with your fist? They're furious. You better stay out of their sight. To be fair, that's in his name, is Furious. He's always like that. Felonia was one step away from a frenzied state herself. So what do they want? To complain about me to Shefa? Will they be allowed into heaven? Enough. Mikael roared with such unexpected volume that even Felonia bit her tongue. Calm down. They won't do anything to you. I won't let them control the lives of my subordinates. For God's sakes, get out of my sight. She didn't apologize, but she expressed her gratitude in her own way. Can I help you with anything? You can go to Malek and pick up the last list of items of those interested in the book. Mikael handed her a thin envelope. Give this to him. Another story? What about me? There were no tasks for her. The wistful realization of her own uselessness was clear on her face. You can come with me. Mikael didn't appreciate the kind gesture, but he noticed Melody lighting up and relented. Fine, we'll go together. Hopefully by the time you get back, everyone will be cooled off and start acting like people who are actually adults for once. The word people, Felonia's face twisted. Mikael turned abruptly and headed back to his office. What do you mean by that? We'll be quick, don't worry. Melody wasn't worried. The last thing I want to do right now is watch the house shake with furious shouting. Alright, we're on our way to Malek. Okay. I think I'm going to shift to his one now. Oh, but there's going to be so much clicking to get through. I'm gonna put my auto clicker on. Alright, back. Malek personally greeted the women in the reception area. The receptionist's desk wasn't empty, but Melody didn't recognize the face behind it. Felonia, I didn't expect you so early. Did something happen? Mikael decided that today would be a great day for us to meet. So you're here for the list. Felonia nodded grimly and glanced at the man behind the desk. Malek turned to his assistant and asked a rhetorical question. Think you can manage without me? The young man nodded arrogantly. I'll keep our evaluator company. I doubt she wants to go down to the basement. Let's go to my office. Melody walked obediently in front of him. Malek stopped at the door. He double-checked just in case. Do you think we should lock the office door? The playful tone of his question nearly made her knees buckle. His eyes blazed with a fire that Melody had only imagined in her deepest, most secret fantasies. Malek waited patiently for her response. Melody tried to figure out if she really wanted to see what kind of privacy would lead to. Oh god. Why is this so expensive? I gotta make a note. What is the most expensive choice we've ever had? I don't think it's this one. No, I feel like I distinctly remember one that was like for $150. There was a quiet click of the door being locked. A pleasant shiver of anticipation ran through her body. This time, Malek didn't offer her a seat or a drink. He moved with predatory intent, backing her toward his desk. You know, Melody, I'm beginning to get used to surprise visits. What happened to Felonia? Wait. Okay, no. The guy behind the desk took Felonia down to the basement, I think, to go get the list or something. But how long is she expected to be gone? Give me a little more time and I might start to miss that sweet face of yours in this evenings. I didn't mean to make you sad. Sorry. Malek placed his hand on the polished surface of the desk, almost catching her in the ring of his arms. Don't apologize. Missing you must be a fascinating experience as well. I'm not the kind of person who fights their feelings. I enjoy them. The pause between them crackled with tension. As she licked her lips nervously, Melody caught Malek's eyes tracing the tip of her tongue. And I feel so many things for you. Curiosity won out and Melody indulged its game. So which one dominates? Right now, I'm overwhelmed with lust. A burning desire is crawling from the depths of my soul to feel the trembling of your body beneath mine. His frankness made this unbearably hot. Her heart jumped and began to pound in her throat. Will Felonia be back any minute now? That's what I'm asking. Malek whispered his next sentence into her ear. I have a very, very deep basement. And no one dares disturb me when I'm really busy. Melody struggled against the painful helplessness she felt in the face of her emotions. You're not wasting any time today, are you? Malek dismissed her attempt to change the subject. Enough, Melody. I only want to know if you're willing to share my desire. Right here and now. Besides, I've been waiting for an answer to that question for some time. What am I supposed to say to that? You can say yes, and then I'll show you how much I want it. Or you can say no, and my fantasies remain just that, fantasies. It's that simple. Her attempts to gather her thoughts failed. But if you agree, things will never be as they were before. Choosing I don't want to allow you to exit this scene. Alright. In for a penny, in for a pound. Alright. I'm saying yes. And then his special music plays. Malek's pupils dilated, his breathing slowed and deepened. Melody watches every breath with fascination, waiting for a wish, no, a command, to come from his enticing lips. I'll try not to scare you, my dear Melody, but I hope you realize that I'm not a gentleman bound by the limits of decency. Yes, I do. Malek repeated after her. He stretched a tiny syllable as if it alone already gave him pleasure. Okay. Then get on your knees, Melody. This was her fantasy. You remember back from the church episode. His confident tone alone made her lower abdomen ache with this unbearable desire to satisfy his whims. Melody sank to her knees, but didn't dare take the initiative. Malek did everything himself. He unzipped his pants, teasingly slow. He invited her to begin with a seductive smile. Her heart pounded faster with excitement, but Melody didn't show any sign of it. I like it when you're so obedient. It makes me want to make you regret it. I won't. Melody ignored her own arousal. She focused on being skillful, as if she were the world's most diligent student. God. She drew from limited experience and could only naively guess what true skill might entail. Malek tingled his fingers in her hair, pulling just enough to make it hurt, and Melody worked even harder. Deeper, faster, until muffled gagging sounds filled the air, just the way he liked it. When he finally withdrew, she took an arousingly loud, deep breath that cut through the room's silence. Stand up. Her legs were weak, but Melody rose obediently, guided by his husky voice. She slowly licked her lips and bit the bottom one, reveling in the raw desire that blazed in his eyes. Good girl. You give me many more wonderful moments, won't you? Melody knew exactly what sex entailed, but next to Malek, she couldn't even guess what she was in for. He brushed his fingertips possessively along her collarbone, then hooked them on the hem of her top. He enjoyed every new inch of exposed skin as he slowly revealed her breast. Stunning. Melody fought the urge to cover herself. She let him admire her openly. Standing before him half naked felt strange, but under his penetrating gaze, she felt something else as well. She felt as if he saw far more deeply, as if he had cracked open her ribcage and was now staring directly at her wildly beating heart. Staring hungrily, like a predator ready to sink its teeth into raw flesh. Malek pulled her close with a sharp tug, cutting off her strange thoughts. He abruptly turned her to face away from him and pressed her against his chest. His ruthless hand slid in toward her neck. Melody tilted her head back onto his shoulder and closed her eyes. His proximity was long awaited for her, too. Her mind, which had been stubbornly rejecting her feelings, gave way to an unbearable awe and fell silent. She wanted to subdue this tingling feeling. She wanted Malek to feel not just her thoughts, but her body as well. God, why am I so drawn to him? His slender fingers tightened around her throat, sending a rush of blood to her head. What desires of mine are you willing to fulfill? She had just enough oxygen for a short reply. All of them. You're fortunate, Melody. I have plenty of desires involving you. Let's start with the most important one today. Lie down. Malek nudged her toward the desk, pressing gently on her lower back, her chest lowered on the cold surface. He dealt with her clothes in his unceremonious way. There was a pitiful ripping sound, but Melody paid it no attention. All her thoughts immediately followed his greedy, confident touches. Melody gripped the edge of the desk as his knee pressed against her inner thigh, spreading her legs wider. She drew a shaky breath when his hand slid down her stomach and settled between her thighs. Her body leaned toward him instinctively, her buttocks brushing against his firm arousal, his own unbearable lust. Melody bit her lip. Thankfully, Malek had no intention of torturing either of them with the long wait. He slid her panties aside, gathered her wetness with his fingers, and pressed them gently against her throbbing clit. His other hand rested firmly on her shoulder. You were made to drive men mad. With your scent, your voice, your body. Malek moved skillfully and tenderly along her sensitive skin, drawing intricate patterns. His words reached her mind with great difficulty. Melody bit her lip, trying to be quiet, but when his fingers slid inside her, she couldn't hold back. The office filled with a drawn-out moan. Malek pressed her shoulder down and pulled her closer. It's women like you who make men act recklessly. Fight, maim, start wars, kill. What am I, Helen of Troy? Take the lives of everyone, even their own brothers, for daring to desire you. Melody moaned again, and Malek began to move faster. Those who are drunk with lust can hardly be blamed. I would gladly commit any folly on that list. What would please you most, my dear? Her voice came out hoarse and pleading. Malek, I don't need it. He released her shoulder and covered her mouth with his hand. He whispered and his lips brushed against her delicate earlobe. Of course, I need it. I need everyone to know that you're mine. Only mine. Malek stepped back. There was the sound of a condom wrapper being torn. Good. His still damp fingers gripped her thigh. Melody held her breath, expecting a sharp thrust, but Malek entered her slowly, smoothly. He savored the long-awaited moment, filling her completely. The tension low in her belly grew sharper, spreading throughout her entire body. Oh, guys, it's gonna be safe for. I think this is borderline. This is so borderline. I don't know. I'm gonna have to cut this whole section down here of the picture. I don't know. Malek moved rhythmically and sensually, like the most skillful lover. Melody felt like she was in reliable yet sinful hands. Malek Center. A thought flashed through her lust-clouded mind. Along with pleasure, his hands were spreading sin itself over her bare skin. With every thrust, he filled her with more and more. Malek gripped her throat and lifted her slightly off the desk. His ragged, hot breath brushed her neck. Blood rushed to her head. She wanted more. For his hand on her neck to tighten, for her moans to turn into rasps. Malek responded to her unspoken desire. He caught her hands and pulled them behind her back, squeezing her wrist. He quickened his pace. His movements became rough and forceful. She couldn't contain her moans anymore. They mingled with the wet sounds of hot sex. The edge of the desk dug into her skin without resistance. Her pulled back shoulders ached. Melody no longer knew what she felt more of, pain or pleasure. She couldn't tell one from the other. Intense, blinding sensation coursed through her entire body, making her tremble. A wave of ecstasy surged through her every cell, bursting out of her with a drawn-out moan. Malek covered her mouth with his hand and hissed. Owning you, Melody, is an incomparable pleasure. Melody felt him pulse inside her. She knew exactly what would come next. Emptiness. The fading arousal left a shameful residue that she wanted to wash away as quickly as possible. Melody didn't turn to face him. She tried to adjust her clothes. She exhaled in relief at the sound of his retreating footsteps. So what's between us now? Malek returned a few minutes later, a garment bag draped over his arm. He smiled at her feeble attempt to clean herself up as he handed her the gift. The rest that Malek gifted you has been added to your wardrobe. Yeah, because he just ripped my other one. There's a bathroom behind that transparent wall. I'll go check on our friend in the meantime. And don't worry, no one will bother you. He paused, as if choosing his words, then he gently tucked a damp strand of hair behind her ear. Even better than I imagined, Melody. I hope that fate will be kind to us and that our next meeting will be just as enjoyable. Malek brushed his fingertips along her chin and left the room. Malek has finally tasted you and he loves it. He wants you even more now. By her conflicting feelings, Melody couldn't help but admit that she had enjoyed being with him. After a shower, she sank onto the couch, but her gaze kept drifting to the desk. He flushed through her body again, reminding her of what had happened there not long ago. What is this dress? It's cute though. Where the hell are they? strange, muffled moan snapped Melody out of her thoughts. She jumped to her feet. Listening closely, the pitiful sound came again. It was almost like sobbing. She noticed another door near the lounge. The sound seemed to be coming from behind it. Melody touched Cassiel's gift. The amulet responded with a pleasant coolness, assuring her that she was safe. Alright, Melody, calm down. Without removing her hand from her chest, she pulled on the door handle and the door gave way. Hey, is anyone here? The muffled sob repeated. Melody moved toward it. The room turned out to be a strange study filled with objects whose purpose Melody could only guess at. The buzzing light bulb overhead was unnerving. Melody clutched the amulet tighter. Oh, here it is. Here's how we get in trouble and how it involves Malek finally. I think we're finally going to find out how he's involved in all this. Oh my gosh. Oh no. A strange sarcophagus resembling a torture device, an Iron Maiden, stood like a grim statue in the corner. Oh my gosh, I hate those things. Is there someone in there? It's just an antique and Malek is a collector after all. If the amulet is cool, it means there's no one inside. I thought it meant that I wasn't in danger, not that somebody else wasn't in danger. Oh, this is Skeptic, right? I'm sure if I looked around, I'd find even more extravagant items here. Molly took a cautious step back and then pulled up the creaky lid. It's empty. Ugh. Whew. At least it doesn't have someone in there. Okay. At least it doesn't have anyone in there today. Molly let her breath and sat down on the edge of the old desk. Where was the moan coming from? Her hand brushed against an open visitor register. The yellow pages reeked of age and mystery. Malek keeps track of visitors in such an outdated way. Melody wouldn't pay any attention to the confidential information if it weren't for one painfully familiar name. Moore was his client? The amulet on her chest grew warmer. Oh, hell. Is he on his way back? Is the danger coming from him? Malek. Melody jumped to her feet. The desk was piled high with all kinds of documents. She tried to find something related to Moore. Maybe that means you should go, honey. Her attention was drawn to a stack of personal files, just as old-fashioned as the register. She carefully lifted them one by one, searching for the name. She forgot about it when she found another. Her father's file. Malek couldn't have known him. Or could he? The amulet grew hotter as if guiding her. What? I thought all it did was warn us of danger. Interesting. Melody pulled out the thin folder. A photograph of an open book fell onto the table. The strange, incomprehensible symbols filled her with an inexplicable awe. Were they looking for some sort of book? Absorbing all her attention, Melody brushed her fingertips over them and lingered on a familiar mark, the symbol of the beast. I wonder if Malek showed this to Mikael? Melody tried to ignore the shudder that came over her at the wealth of information. She pulled out her phone. What if we're not gonna get far? Take a picture. Okay, we're checking it. After taking a picture, she carefully put everything back in place. Hopefully we get to keep our phone, unlike last time. The amulet burned unbearably. It felt like it was going to sear a hole in her chest. Melody tried to pull it out from under her collar, but suddenly froze. Behind her, right next to her ear, she heard a voice. Melody. She turned around sharply and found herself nose to nose with the owner of the study. The The professor's gaze was horrifyingly empty and detached, as if his eye sockets had been filled with glass. Malek? The man stared through her and wheezed in a low, guttural voice. What are you doing here, you sly fox? Wait. Didn't the voice, like, a long time ago, back in the garden at Astrea, didn't the voice say something really similar to that a long time ago, if not that exact sentence? Did he not say that? So, where, okay, so he's an in-game romance, right? What does it mean if he's the right-hand man of the beast that wants to sacrifice me? Like, what? How? Is this supposed to be some sort of, like, I don't know, redemption story for him? Or what? I don't know. I don't know how they come back from this if he's as involved as I think he is. All right. Was that him and his voice speaking to us there? Why is his eyes so glassy? What does that mean? Does that imply some level of control of the beast over his soul? And what does it mean that he's able to read the book? Because they said that not a normal human. We've already toyed with the idea that he's something other than just human. He's not quite an immortal in the way that they are, though. They've already confirmed that to say he's not an immortal. But something about him is off, isn't it? It could just be illusions of grandeur, but I don't know. And think about it, okay. So we've been going through this whole thing that where the kids are paying for the sins of their fathers. And his name is Malek Sinner. And we went on this whole thing during their whole little intimate scene there about her, you know, him covering her in sin and this and that. Like, is all that like just really on the nose of his involvement? Well, I guess the only way that we're gonna know is by playing the next episode. So I better get prepped for that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I host you're looking forward to the season finale because I know that I am. Because I need answers. I need a ton of answers. We got a lot of answers, and a lot of things changed the end of last season. So I'm hopefully for the same thing this season. I'm hoping for a big information dump. I want to know all the things. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!